Hey guys, Peter here to do an album review. Today I'm here to tell you all about the latest from Falconer, From a Dying Ember, out June 26 on Metal Blade Records. The album has 11 tracks, 46 minutes in length, and this is the band's 9th full-length studio album. This is a classic sounding heavy metal album through and through. In my opinion, the band created one of the most well-crafted and well-layered sounding records in their history. And the way they achieved that was by putting all the eggs in 4 different baskets. And those baskets are the structure, the guitars, the folk elements, and the vocals. To me, these are the driving forces behind the overall feel, atmosphere, sound, and dynamics of this record. As far as structure is concerned, I felt that they went with a classic style structure for the album, which fits the music perfectly because, like I said, this is a classic heavy metal sounding record from the beginning all the way to the end. So by going with a structure that really emphasizes that feel from the sound that the album has, to me, it just allows the record to have a lot more playability, to not feel repetitive, to not feel monotonous. It really re-engages the listener with every song. That's the structure that it has. I wouldn't necessarily go as far as to say that this album is a roller coaster ride, because it's not. The peaks are not that high and the valleys are not that low. But definitely there's ebbs and flows from track to track. They did a really good job mixing the track listing in order to create fluidity, to create dynamics, to really engage the listener or re-engage the listener with every single song just by changing a few approaches, going from songs that are a lot more powerful, heavier, more driven, with songs that are a lot more melancholic, a little bit darker, a little bit more somber, then adding a few folk elements here and there in order to change the dynamics of the tracks. So you have a lot to pull from. You have a lot of different looks that you can give to the songs, and alternating these looks really creates the perfect fluidity that this album needs. Now, as far as guitars are concerned, I love the classic sound, I love the approach, I love the delivery, I love the melodies, I love the riffs. The solos were incredible on this album, really understanding what the songs needed, the power that they needed, or the melody that they needed, or the darkness that they needed, but always going with the right approach, the right sound, the right feel. As far as the guitars are concerned, was really a winning formula for how this album sounds overall. It has a great feel, it has a great approach, and it's a great album as far as the guitar playing is concerned, because once again, really understanding the internal dynamics, the internal construction of the tracks, and going with the perfect mechanism in order to get the most out of the songs. Next, the folk elements. I really enjoy the keyed fiddle and the bagpipes. To me, those two main elements that really added so much folk vibe, so much folk atmosphere to the songs, but not just in terms of adding this folk presence, they also added this medieval feel to the songs, which played really well into the lyrics. It played really well into the stories on this record, and it just played really well with the overall sound that they created for the album. So to me, that was an absolute winning formula to give the record this almost medieval feel to it. It was just phenomenal. So adding these two elements for as little as it seems, and like I said, not only added this folk presence to the album, but definitely this medieval vibe that absolutely worked across the board, really enhancing the storytelling aspect within the songs themselves. Vocally, the album is outstanding. Very cohesive, top to bottom, very controlled, great tone, great delivery. I really love the vocals on this record. They really emphasize the overall vibe and atmosphere that the record has musically. So perfect outlet, perfect delivery, perfect way of capping off an incredible record through and through. Overall, this is a magnificent album. There's not one weak spot on this record. There's not one weak element on the overall feel that the album has. I really felt that it was a strong album across all parameters. Doesn't matter where you look in, you're not going to find any weaknesses whatsoever. Really interesting record. Perhaps the thing that captivated me the most was definitely the medieval vibe that those folk elements brought to the overall sound of the record. So from that perspective, I really hope to see this continue in future records, because in my opinion, was really a winning formula. It really captivated me. It really gave a sense of presence. It gave a little bit of soul to the overall feel that this album has. So great job across the board. Incredible record, incredible performance. As far as songs are concerned, I want to start off with Kings and Queens. Is a powerful opening track. Perhaps of all the songs as you go down the list, this is the perfect opening track, and the reason for it is, in my opinion, it really encompasses all the different elements that you're going to get throughout the record. Everything has a little bit of a piece of the pie within this song. So I really like that aspect. It really introduces the listener to what you're going to get down the line, gives you a sense of comfort, and it welcomes you into the listening experience of the record. It has heavy drums, and in my opinion, the heavy drums on this track really set the baseline for all the melody and how driven the guitars are on top of it. I really like that combination. The vocals stabilize the track, in my opinion. They bring some calm, but at the same time some strength, some linear approach. There's heavier folk presence as far as the sound is concerned in the chorus, not as much outside the chorus. I like that dynamic. It creates a break between the two. A break that otherwise wouldn't almost even be noticeable, but because of those folk elements really peeking into the chorus, you become more aware of the divide within the track itself. This song has incredible solos, just magnificent, filled with power, filled with melody, filled with strength. Once again, really understanding the dynamic that the song has, the construction, the structure of the track, how it's put together, and delivering the solos that are going to enhance that feel, they're going to enhance that mood, that presence, they're going to expand on that sound. This song did it, and it did it in spades. Absolutely magnificent. And like I said, one of those tracks that really gives you a glimpse of what you're going to get for the rest of the album, and that's why I say that this is the best opening track out of all 11 tracks that they could have picked to be the opening for the album. Next, Rejoice and Adorned. This song blew me away. This is the ballad of the album, but this is not just the ballad of the album, this is the ballad. Absolutely incredible song. Piano, strings, and vocals. That's all you're gonna get on this track, and they deliver an incredible emotional performance filled with beauty from the first note to the last note. Very cohesive, very impactful, very melodic, melancholic at times, but very beautiful altogether. I love this song. It's a song that really allowed the vocals to lead the way, to be in the forefront, be the ones that gain all the attention of the listener, and have all the other elements, be the piano, the strings, just be around it, just adorning it, giving enough strength, enough melody to just really lift those vocals up and give them the pedestal that they needed for a song like this in order to really take it all the way home. By the time you finish with this song, you almost feel like this is a song that could have came out of a Disney movie. It just has that really grandiose, cinematic, ballad style vibe, and because it's so stripped down, it works extremely well. So I really love this song. It's really magnificent, really well crafted, not easy to deliver, but they did it, and they did it in a magnificent way. Just outstanding track all around. Last but not least, Thrust the Dagger Deep. Really interesting song, perhaps one of the more folkier ones on the record. Has that folky medieval vibe to it, mixed in with a lot of power metal elements. So I really like how this song is constructed, and I really like how this song sounds. The drums add a lot of presence to this track. The guitars offer the melody and direction that the song really needed. The vocals are outstanding. I really like some of the layers that they added. They added texture, but they added volume at the same time without making them feel heavier. So I like that aspect of it. The bagpipes were outstanding on this song. Once again, that folk element really makes this song feel more medieval. It makes it feel like a song that you would hear during a king's court. That's the vibe that I got listening to this song. You almost can see yourself being in the presence of a king in his court during a feast, and this song playing in the background. It has kind of that party feel, but at the same time King's Court kind of vibe. I absolutely love it. Just by adding the bagpipes and the mixture that makes into the song creates this incredible atmosphere across the track. One element of this song that completely threw me for a loop was the fact that they added a keyboard solo that felt so psychedelic. It almost felt like out of place, like it didn't belong there. It almost felt to me that it was plucked out of a song from The Doors. It felt like something out of Like My Fire. It was just so out of character. It felt out of character when I first listened to this song, and that psychedelic piano solo came in. I was just not expecting it. The song didn't lead me to believe that something like this was going to happen, but it did. The more I listened to the track, the more that melody, the more that psychedelic approach, somehow it worked. It felt perfectly in. Once your ears got used to it, once I started to become familiar with it, and I went through it a couple of times, I felt like it really belonged there. I felt that it worked really well, and it gave more layers, it gave more texture, it gave a bigger sound to the song, and it worked extremely well. It didn't feel out of place anymore once I became familiar with it. But at first glance, I was totally shocked not expecting it. It just didn't feel like psychedelic keyboard melody would go with a King's Court, with a folky track, folky power metal track. But it worked extremely well. They made it in a way that it combined those elements very well. They interconnected with each other, and the song didn't feel broken. It didn't feel like there was a mixed match of pieces that just didn't belong together. So incredible job for them to having the creativity to pull that off, and then the ability to really make it work and allowing the song to be concise and feel really together all the way through. Alright guys, this is it. This is Falconer from A Dying Ember, once again out June 26 on Metal Blade Records. Let me know your thoughts on the band, on the singles. Use the comment section below. I'll be reading those and getting back to you. Take care, guys.